Okay, Joe. Yes, we shall. Joe, would you be kind enough to call the roll?
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
Ms. Giuliani.
Here.
Mr. Tolmer.
Here.
Ms. Cimaroli.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here. I'd like to start the evening by welcoming John Johnson to the crowd, to the party.
Yeah.
Start the hazing now?
No.
There it is. There it is. And, look, I mean, it was nice that this worked out, right? For boy, girl.
Okay, moving right along here. Any public comment?
No.
Okay. Adoption of minutes from the June 22nd, 2026 meeting. The minutes were included in the packet.
I'll make a motion. A second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Does anybody have any comments, concerns, questions?
No.
Going once, going twice. All in favor of adopting the minutes signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. No new business. Old business. 5 to 10 year planning, comprehensive plan, and active transportation plan implementation. Review and discussion of projects not started. Let's start with the plan first.
Do we have enough time?
We do. We'll get nothing else on this minute. I would like to start by just kind of going over the vision. I'm going to read the vision and the guiding principles, and then I've got a list of other things that I'd like to talk about. For starters, the vision, Bridgeville Borough will continuously strive to enhance the quality of life for its residents and to be a place people are proud to call their hometown. The borough will preserve and build on its small town charm and sense of community, including public places like the downtown, parks, and the library, and the community events and organizations that connect people to each other. An authentic downtown, traditional, human-scale, sidewalk-oriented, filled with popular and successful businesses, walkable neighborhoods. The borough will give priority to public safety and sound and reliable public surfaces. The borough will seek to improve its position as a hub in a growing greater Bridgeville region, a destination of its own, a small town well connected to a major city and metro area and all that they have to offer, an attainable community, affordable, welcoming to a diverse population. So that's the vision. And I think what we need to kind of keep this in mind as we move forward, as we start working on our to-do list. The guiding principles, the borough should develop an identity and further enhance the local business environment to attract entrepreneurs and retain existing businesses. The borough's transportation network should balance the needs of all the users, creating routes that, beyond conveying vehicles efficiently, represent a safe and inviting public place. The borough should promote and further develop assets to build a reputation as a desirable living environment with housing options and full complement of cultural and recreational amenities. And lastly, the borough should address its flooding issues to sustain existing neighborhoods and promote new development/redevelopment and the preservation opportunities. So that's kind of the guiding principles, the guiding and vision of the comprehensive plan. Let's see. So I will entertain discussion regarding the existing comp plan. You have some issues that you'd like to address?
I'll wait.
Okay. As I was going through it, and you guys probably picked up on this, there's several items in the comp plan that are not yet on our project list. downtown business focus. Most of that was 1, 2, 3, 4 of the items on that have not made the list. I mean, the one thing that we have already done is create a zoning ordinance for the district of the downtown. But get the downtown business organized and working together. Create a business development district director position in the borough. Develop a Bridgeville identity and pursue a mixed use redevelopment opportunity. These are all things that we've kind of already talked about, but I think they should get added onto the list. Comments, questions, thoughts?
That's one I had. I mean, as far as like stuff that hasn't officially been started yet, that's one I have highlighted.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we're gonna start doing what I mean, the whole idea of a comprehensive plan, it's about, you know, quality of life in Bridgeville, but it's about how do we grow Bridgeville economically, and that's a key focus.
Yeah, and I you know, we've talked a little bit about most of this stuff already, and I think it's just we add it to the list and start chipping away at it as time permits.
But here's my thought. Number one, this is how many years old already? 2 years old, right?
It's a 20-year plan.
I know, but at the same time, does Bridgeville have, how much time does Bridgeville have to survive? In other words, if we don't do anything for the next year or 2 years or 3 years, you know, what could transpire in that time frame? So, I mean, I don't know. I think that we need to actively anticipate that we need to do something about this. I don't care how small, right? And I just,
So you're for it,
what?
to
Add it to the list.
add it to the list?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm adding it to the
Okay,
list.
okay.
I'm making it a number one item, in
Yeah.
other words, okay? I just had a meeting with Public Art Bridgeville, all right? And
Right.
I asked Cherry, you know, would you be interested in helping Bridgeville do a business plan? He goes, oh, sure, yeah. And I know the guy from Crafty Jackalope is like, oh, he's all for it. So it's that, do we need to organize? How do we need to organize?
Yeah, I think one of the things too is, you know, we'll sit there and talk about business development. It's like, whoa, you know, Bridgeville has a very low, no vacant or vacancy.
Vacancy.
You know, it's like, okay, that's great. But I think when we talk about economic development, it's like, and especially when we went through all those different workshops and public meetings and asking what people wanted to see in Bridgeville, it isn't about, oh, do we have businesses in empty, or there's very few empty buildings. It's getting somebody to go out and find businesses that we want to come here.
Right.
You know, the right, you know, not, oh, hey, guess what? We had an empty store in front and now it's a hair salon. Great. You know, that's not, I don't think that's what we're trying to do.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not against bringing in another nail salon.
No, neither
because
am I.
it's occupying a business.
If it comes here organically, then so be it.
Right,
I'm
right.
trying to go, I think we should work on trying to find the stuff that, you know, hey, we really would like this type of business, and there's businesses out there that may not have thought about Bridgeville, and how do we entice them?
But how do we do that?
That's what we're trying to do. I mean, that's what you have, if you have a person here that markets, that.
How do we do that?
That, you know, that has done that.
I mean, so looking through this, I do think there's a lot of really attainable goals that aren't necessarily, you know, 10 or 15 year things. I think there are a lot of things that could be accomplished in 2 or 3 years. And trying to separate myself from it, I do see a lot of this as marketing and how, you know, as a whole, how we're going about presenting the opportunity here, presenting, you know, there's a lot of references of, you know, the historical significance of Bridgeville and then the connectivity to Pittsburgh. And there's a lot to play with there. And so a lot of these things, I think, I was going page by page, kind of just taking notes, and, 5 or 6 times there were things where it's like, to me, it's as simple as, how do you tell that story? How do you get that information out to people? And then the dominoes in theory sort of fall after that. I was really excited to see the business development person in here. I think that's really interesting. And I don't know how many local communities have something like that. I had just.
Crafton has a similar thing. Crafton and Canonsburg.
Canonsburg and Canadian, but they were paid by the businesses, right?
Carnegie had a CDC.
Right.
Okay.
Is it being considered in the budget?
For next year, I just started the budget.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, probably not.
Yeah.
There's only,
We can always stretch.
there's only
Yeah,
so
no,
much,
yeah.
and you got the fire department saying, I got no one showing up for fire calls, I need staffing. And it's like, okay, that takes priority over this.
Yeah, I was just,
And
it's really just.
it makes it really tough, because like, would we like to solve all the world's problems? Yes. And it's-
No, we want to solve all the world, we want to solve our
I
problem.
know, there's only so much money here, and that just makes it tough.
Yeah.
Because the problems, the projects you put on the plate that are in motion are millions and millions of dollars in debt. We got grant money for it, but we're gonna be in a position where we're gonna have to do a bond or something, because it's getting to be pretty big.
Well, I mean, considering the old comp plan and what got done with that, and the new comp plan and what we've done so far, I mean, we're doing stuff.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
doing lots of stuff.
Sure.
We're doing lots of good stuff. I was just seeing that, this stuff was omitted
Yeah.
from the list, and I think we need to
Oh.
get it on there and just keep it right in front of us.
Yeah, and most are not, like, I don't wanna speak, but like, maybe I'm out of place when I say, was that considered for the budget? Cause like, it's August 20th, and I'm just starting the spreadsheets now, so like, the budget really hasn't progressed that far, it's just that I know the priorities that came up, the contractual obligations, where that's gonna take us, cause for taxes, it's just, I don't know how much we'll be able to do. There are some things that kind of play into account here, so it could come into play, I don't know. But I just know that the bigger requests that were already presented are pretty big requests.
Maybe-
Bitsy was talking about doing a business plan for Bridge. I'm just saying that,
No, yeah. I mean,
she might have some ideas,
hers was more marketing
okay?
than it was, the business plan was established, it was marketing that business plan.
Okay.
I don't even think we're at that, but, we have to establish what we need. So, maybe we start biting off every quarter 3 or 4 items that, what is the, how many businesses are open, or how many spaces are open for leasing? Or, that sort of thing, and just bite it off bit by bit, so that we know. I was talking to Mandy again, and it was like, okay, we need to maybe get another business group here, like we did, last year, that she invited businesses from Bridgeville, right? And we all sat down and talked about what we did and so forth, so.
That'd be probably a
It
good
needs
start.
to be different. 'Cause
Correct.
We've
Right.
done those business meetings, we've done the business charrettes to get here. We did the business charrettes for the downtown zoning ordinance. We did the business charrettes for the Chamber of Commerce last year. It needs to be
But
different.
what is that difference then?
I think going I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if you go to businesses and say, hey, look, we want to do this and we want you to come to a meeting, they're going to be like, how many more meetings you want us to go to?
But how do you get the business to step up? And see, that's what exhausted me after doing the comp plan. It was
So-
like, to talk to them.
So it's, I don't know,
You got some ideas?
do you go and, do you go to all the businesses and ask that, or do you target certain businesses who are maybe more influential and go to them and say, hey, yeah, you've been here for a long time, you've been a long-standing business, and this is what we're trying to do. And we know who those people are, who those businesses are, and say, look, we're not trying to do a town hall meeting and have everybody come and speak their mind. We're looking for you, and you to put this together. You know, Bridgeville, you've had your business here for a long time. You've made all your money in Bridgeville over the years, and we're asking you to kind of get that.
Yeah, I mean, in reading that section, you know, I jotted down, I feel like business owners like to have their ego stroked. And in a good way, to where if you were inviting them to, you know, I think I noted down like maybe once every 6 months or once every year even, sort of breakfast event where they're not coming to the table to tell you things. That can be part of a networking aspect of it. But, you know, they're coming to listen to privileged information, a report on the borough as a whole. Here are our challenges, here are our wins, those sorts of things. To where they're in the room and they're hearing these things from whomever it may be. Not to put you on the spot to like, you know, but you know, where they feel like they're a part of it, they're getting that information that they're gonna then take home. They're gonna share it with their customers in the community, and then you're building that relationship in a little less formal, like anything goes, if that makes sense.
Have a bottom-up approach.
Well, it's like a business appreciation.
A little bit.
Yeah. We appreciate you, and then, okay,
They do
now that
something.
we're just thanking you, no, go ahead and share some stuff, but we're not asking you to come prepared to.
1,000%.
Yeah.
They do something similar to that in Kane. We mentioned Kane before, but they're key stakeholders in their town, businessmen, women, would get together for breakfast every Sunday. Number one, it's a small little town. They basically say, well, you guys want to do this? What do you want to do now? And they do it, you know? So, yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea, what you're saying.
And the other way we could look at it is that in looking at what's transgressing around us, like Mount Lebanon or Bethel Park, I mean, you know, with the concerts and the parties and the South Fayette days and that sort of thing, you know, I mean, we have a few new businesses opening up in Bridgeville. Maybe we just make it so that people outside of us, we make it so attractive that people outside of us will want to say, okay, hey, you know, there's a lot of activity in Bridgeville. Maybe we should look at potentially moving into Bridgeville. I just went past a business today, I forget what it was called. It was an Italian store, right? And I'm all up for Italian stores. And it was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it was like, why did they choose to move here, right? So, I don't know, with Pittsburgh, I think we have a great opportunity with Pittsburgh Pottery moving in here. And, you know, trying to figure out how we can piggyback on their success, because they will be successful.
They will be active in
Right.
bringing people in for classes and that. Good.
So I feel like rereading this, we hit pretty heavy on needing to figure out what Bridgeville's identity is. I think before we get groups of any
bring businesses into an event. Like, hey, we're gonna put you on the ground floor of what we're looking at. This is how we're trying to approach things. This is sort of, exclusive. And then when you generate that excitement, that spreads. But I think that's a great point. That's a really good jumping off point to kind of figure it out, get it sort of dialed in, and then take it to, not just businesses, but then, your volunteer organizations, your civic clubs, that sort of thing. And you're kind of doing it, hitting different segments of the community, and making everyone feel like they're in on the secret. But part of it,
Yeah. Maybe Google, how do you figure out your identity? I don't know.
Ask ChatGPT. No, I think that's a good point. Maybe we figure out who we are.
Yeah, I mean, do we, like, we know what little towns we like. Do we want to become one of those little towns? Do we just want to copy? Okay, Carnegie's a bookstore, let's try to get a bookstore. Canonsburg has a candy store, let's get a candy store. Like, but then there's really no intent or whatever behind what we're trying to attract. Pittsburgh Pottery does give us a lot of opportunity.
There is recipe, there is things in it, when you go to a Seal Bowl or something, you look and say, they have all the variety of businesses that they give a small town charm, and it's like, yeah, they propose, yeah, we have, for toys, for little toys, for anything, anything to give people a reason to walk on your streets, other than going to the bank or going to get your hair done or going to the dentist. Something where you're gonna go and you go walk in a store, browse, buy something, go have lunch, get a cup of coffee, whatever.
I was really interested that Zealand was one of the kind of reference communities, just because I think they're a little bit different, just because everywhere around them is booming.
Yeah.
It's some kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
To that way. But they also have a similar amount of traffic kind of pumping through their downtown. But when I was still working and covering their borough area, their business is aggressive. They're very well organized. They attend every meeting. Like they advocate, and through that advocating, they've built really strong relationships where it's almost like second nature when an issue comes up to council. They're kind of already considering, well, how does that impact business? Like they've kind of built that relationship, which is really interesting. I've never really seen anything like that. So yeah, it was very interesting to see that, because I think there's a lot of similarities. They clearly are doing something right.
Okay. Well, I think we put that on the list. We'll
What are we
consider
putting on the list?
the 5 items, the 4 items from downtown focus. And think about it a little bit more and try and come up with a good way to come up with an identity for the borough and
I think we should be doing a couple of things parallel with that.
okay.
The identity,
Right.
I think we should do an inventory of,
Availability.
yeah, and maybe like a thumbnail or, quick jot down, hey, these are kind of a couple of businesses we really like to see. I don't know, what do you think?
I kept writing down, and obviously I think it's just where I'm at in life, but I was thinking a lot about, we go to places like Hastings a lot, we go to Reno, we go to those sorts of places where there's something that's engaging for your family. It's not like dangerous, or, it's not like being in a bar.
Yeah.
That kind of ends up serving as like a kind of de facto third space, because you can sort of relax a little bit. And I know that whole industry is kind of having its own weird challenges at this point, kind of saturated and all that. But those sorts of things that are sort of not necessarily targeted toward families, but are family inclusive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discourse about, don't bring your kids to places that do allow it and make it a point of their brand, I think do well.
Well, I mean, you look at a place like Recon put themselves smack dab in the middle of the, but they knew what they were buying. Where, say, another brewery, you go down to Sharps, you got a hitchhiker down Sharpsburg. So, they have tables back there set up the games, and sure, you go, they just want you to, hey, bring the family. This isn't a daycare, don't let your kid just run ragged, which I think that should be true anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, I think that's exactly what especially for a town like this.
And even, it's kind of challenging, I imagine, just because of the way things are kind of currently set, but having those open outdoor spaces, Crafty sort of has it, which is awesome, and to me, that's sort of a game changer, where you're more likely to go to those sorts of places on a nice afternoon if you can at least have the semblance of like, oh, I'm outside, I'm not completely just like pulled up somewhere,
Now, we could get somebody to buy Demarios and put a little stables on the sidewalk there, and
You could.
Or we could organize that
Or-
event where we close Railroad Street
Yes.
and
Right.
do that
Right.
I mean,
first.
Railroad Street, there's all kinds of Railroad Street.
again,
All
you know,
kinds of stuff.
with what's going on with Pittsburgh Pottery, we have to,
I mean, they have a lot of space. They have they have a whole courtyard behind the, not behind the Taco behind their thing. There's a whole, and then you got what's the people who bought Nina's building? I mean, they're just put a coffee roaster in there, but are they?
I met with her last week. They had some family issues that she's working through, but she's trying to bring the coffee shop.
now, would she be
They want to
interested?
do they want to do this, they have a piece of property next to it,
Yeah.
which they could have, there's an outdoor space there. They can
Right,
utilize.
right. Do you have any idea whether or not they'd be open to doing a pop-up?
I don't. We have to ask. She has a successful existing business somewhere else.
Right, right,
It would be hard, but we
okay,
have to ask.
all right.
Okay, we good with
Yeah.
the plan for right now? Okay. Keeping with the comp plan, on page 74, there's a list of kind of additional items, things that were kind of talked about as we build in the comp plan. And I don't know if we want it, some of the stuff's been done, some of the stuff's we're working on. Again, not all this stuff is included in the comp plan, in the project list. Do we want to add all of this stuff into the project list, or just leave it for another 2 years and then revisit it? I mean, we're gonna revisit the comp plan every year, that's my plan right now. There's quality of life stuff, there's downtown business development. Some of this stuff is part of what was already mentioned, but traffic enforcement.
I mean, traffic, parking, and signage has pretty much been complete, I mean, theoretically
Yeah.
completed, right?
I mean, the chief's working on some of that. The roundabout at Bank Street, is kind of in motion. Parking garage, parking on the north end is one of the things. And I think we'll get to that when we start talking about the north end a little further down the line, when we get a little bit further.
Like, essentially, parking in the north end is the redevelopment of the north
Right.
end.
Yeah.
And then successful redevelopment.
There's a lot of things that, once the ball gets rolling, it covers a lot of bases.
Yeah. Determine suitability and potential locations for EV charging stations. I know the parking authority is looking into that.
Mhm.
So, some of this stuff, the additional items, anybody have any
Right, I agree with quality of life.
I mean, and we are working on a lot of the traffic and parking things
Mm-hmm.
already, so they are there.
Okay, so I'll redo the streetlights on Washington Avenue, be one by go bridge to bridge.
Well, that's kind of like the dark sky thing we were talking about.
That and the streetscaping, yeah.
Yeah. Make Railroad Street more attractive.
Yep.
Promote walking paths through Bridgeville, could be visual paths with paint. Examine the use of alternative energy solutions, solar, green, sustainable power to operate municipal building and sites. Coordinate with county and state officials to address businesses that pollute. Expand yard waste program, composting, include grass clippings. Formalize the art program so it's sustainable, and ensure the future, this last one's kind of incomplete. Ensure the future improvements to utilities be, I'm not sure what.
That was, I remember that. All these are is essentially, if I came in and I just had an idea, who made this? This wasn't the community talking, this was
Yeah.
one guy had an idea and it didn't make the cut, so it made this list. So I didn't want you to think this was a list of the community. This was, you remember when we had all the sheets?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And this was, so basically I remember this was,
These were the leftovers.
yeah, they're all great ideas. But
Right.
this was like, because I remember, I could tell you, the formalized arbor and be sustainable, that was me, you know? Yeah. So I'm just telling you, like,
Okay,
like these
all
are
right,
like one
all right.
part, and that was so that one there is that future put to be utilities to be underground. That was Pat Blaze, yeah. So I tell you, you're one man hits.
We're talking about utilities underground, it's bad.
Yeah, and that's why like the north end or the south side kind of like we could advance streetscape tomorrow, but he came into a meeting and said, I want utilities underground, I want this and that, and then the commission said, oh yes, we agree. So we're not going to design a streetscape project
Right.
because we wanted a Cadillac and not a Ford. So it makes it hard, yeah. So.
Okay, so these are just add-ons that we'll just leave to the side and revisit
Keep in
periodically.
mind,
Yeah.
that, you know,
Okay. Okay. That was my list. Anybody else have any list issues to be added, thoughts?
I didn't want to take a ton of time, but just a couple of things that
Sure.
I noted. How much or if at all has that demographic information changed since this was done?
It was based on the 2020 census,
Okay.
so, 6 years.
Yeah, that's why I wondered if I'd be very curious to see if there was any sort of movement the opposite direction. I anecdotally would think so, but I don't know.
you know, I've asked that question because I'm trying to figure out how to do another demographic. But until we get to, 2030, we're not gonna be, unless we do it ourselves, which is gonna cost money, so. But, I mean, hey, if Saturday night's any exist, it's skewing younger.
But that was kind of my thought,
Right.
just like,
Right. I
just.
mean, I don't know, we can't look at real estate transactions because we have no idea what the age of people are, but.
Yeah. So that was it. I was curious about that and kind of how that played in. The only thing I kind of noted was for Washington Avenue and about, some of the traffic calming and the semblance of safety to where, maybe people feel a certain way as they're navigating those sidewalks. Is there a way to sort of, and there were some things in here, I was really excited to get to the part about the kind of choke points and that kind of stuff. I know that's it, but, bollards or some sort of something to kind of give that appearance and feeling of a clear divider to kind of make you feel a little more secluded from traffic and that kind of thing.
You're talking like along the sidewalks? Okay.
So, that was just a very much like thinking out loud, but then got to the point about the, kind of choking things down, that would seem like a much better approach, so. But I was really excited to see that in there.
Anything else? Okay, moving on. 2027 budget considerations.
I was gonna say, we just talked about.
Yeah. Do you have
We
any?
usually budget like one planning thing a year. And you think this year we did the North End planning, so that was $15,000. And then we've done something every year. I know if you look at the next thing is a couple weeks ago you wanted to do the planning for the Lafayette project. It's probably gonna be another $15,000-$20,000. So just prioritize.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that's, we need you to help us.
Yeah.
Keep us on the straight and
Yeah,
narrow,
that's
Joe.
Yeah, so before we, try to put that in the budget, I mean, we should find out, I know we sent a letter and stuff, right?
Yeah, I met with John, so they're interested, and he came back saying their planning commission and the board of commissioners was interested in doing something with it, and threw the ball back at me and says, all right, go to your consultants and see what it costs and come up with a plan. So I got along with it. But that was a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So it's good, so they're interested, and it's just that we know what it's gonna be, it's gonna be something that's cost. So we kind of know what it's gonna cost. I bet it's very similar to what we're paying in North End.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Expensive.
So
We could split it with them, or we can apply for a grant and it's just delayed a year,
I mean, I think any project like that is, I mean, you wait till you get money from, it's all, those are big grant opportunities because you have multi-municipal, it's healthy, it's, encourages walkability, so it's.
I mean, if you look at Revitalize or Die, which, and here's the thing. I look at Main Street, Washington Avenue right now. We do have flowers, which is a small item. We have sculptures, which is a bigger item. Should we maybe concentrate on completing a revitalization of Washington Avenue and perhaps look at those two the Allegheny County grant or else the Connect grant, and see whether or not we could get a developed plan for the south end to revitalize that particular area, especially since CVS is in, and, maybe they may be more attuned to granting us some financial donations. Yeah,
Maybe. That county Main Street grant, like, we could potentially, I don't know what the turnaround is, because they're both due very soon.
I know.
But like, the Lafayette project potentially could be something that we could, it's a technical.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and I can see what the turnaround is, because I have the scope of work is essentially everything I pitched to Lafayette. It's just now getting an estimate for what that would cost and then seeing if the county would fund it. But the county just gave us a grant, last month.
Okay.
So I don't know what the odds of
Right.
getting another grant, but we could try,
But doesn't the Allegheny County grant money come from the state?
No, this is a county program.
So Main Street is a state,
There's Main Street's, state program, and then
Okay.
the Allegheny's Main Street.
Okay.
The technical one is Allegheny County.
okay. Because didn't they just release the Main Street grant money, like last month?
Who, the county?
No, the state.
The state did, but then they're just accepting applications again now.
Okay, all right.
But the Lafayette project would be something, hey, we have on the shelf, we have in our comp plan, we pitched to our neighbor, we have the scope, we have interest from them, everything's lined up. It's just now, how do we pay for it, and how do we run with it, and how do we prioritize it, So, I can go back to TPD, because that's who did the concept, and say, hey, give me a cost estimate to do a grant to pitch, and then I could probably get that turned around within the deadline is this week. If he can turn it around fast enough, yeah.
I can't believe we only got that information like 2 weeks before the due date.
Well, they kind of want you to have all your stuff ready to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
oh,
that's how it's for.
well, now that I know that.
Like, we're not looking for money, we have a project and we need help. Like,
Right, yeah.
we're not gonna be successful if we just see, oh, there's a grant program, let's put a project together.
Right.
We need to have a project and we need help, that's how we will be successful. And we do have a project and we need help.
And you've done a fine job
Yeah,
thus
we'll be
far,
good.
Joe.
We'll be good, it's just, yeah, it's just cautions, how we,
Okay,
keep it moving and positive and from there, being affordable, yeah. That's where it's, I'm the manager, I'm not the planner. It's,
Washington Avenue Streetscape?
yes, Melissa had a wonderful thing. It was included in the email, and then when I made the packets, I didn't put it in, but it's on
Well,
the
I
page.
mean, I said it too.
Yeah, but it was in your email. Yeah, that's it there.
Yeah, I was trying to formulate, just have some concrete ideas put together, because we've had that on the list for a long time. This way we have, and I talked to Jen with the Shade Tree Commission about partnering together on like trees on South End. North End, we don't really have room. Like, I mean, we don't wanna do anything where we're investing a lot because it's gonna get redone. But we could spruce it up a bit, cause it's kind of dirty looking and people who live in the North End they feel disconnected from the rest these days. So I just had some bullets and, I mean, this was, like, I could have tried to calculate out what it would cost to build those concrete things, but I didn't, Joe.
No,
Because Public Works probably could tell you in 10 seconds, yeah, it's gonna cost us
Well,
$40
they
in
could do that.
materials.
They could do that in January when they're not salting the roads.
Hey, we didn't finish, like, the 2027 budget, so, like, that process just got started. So like we've done in the past, maybe for the next meeting, if we could come up with, a request to council, just so we do a letter to them that would say, hey, we're asking for funding consideration for ABC. And, be funding for the business development coordinator, the South Fayette Trail Project, something like, that's where we need to get that formalized, not just make an agenda item.
Right.
So if we could have a serious attention to that, so that at the September meeting, because after September, a lot of things aren't out by September. So we got a month to figure out what it is, but it needs to be, attainable, realistic. Because we're getting to a point now where our capital funding is getting pretty slim, because we've got a lot of projects at the table we got to match. It's getting hard now to add more to that table.
So we should put a letter together tonight?
I wouldn't say
or
tonight, I would say
September?
for the September meeting. I
Okay.
would say, like, we leave here tonight with maybe, like, let's flush out, like, our 3 requests for next year's budget consideration. And then at the next meeting, we can think on it for a couple weeks and then add to it, or, say we're done, but we really need to consider the requests. And the downtown thing is a priority that we've been sitting on for a while, that we need to get off go. It's just, it hasn't been an easy sale. We've pitched this before when money was a little bit easier, and it didn't sell that well. It's just, how do we do this differently? That's what we need to figure this out and do. It's nice having your charismatic enthusiasm to bring something to build that, because that's really what we need. But we need that for the budget, so it's those 3 things. So don't let that just sit there.
Okay, so, downtown, let me think about this. The, development director for Bridgeville. What other projects? The trail?
Yeah,
The-
I think those are the 2 big ones.
Okay, is there anything else? How about you and I sit down this week and try and come up with maybe a 3rd one?
And even if it's just those 2 things, that's realistic,
Okay.
because I'd rather be attainable than, no one likes
Yeah.
going into contract negotiations when someone comes to a table with 20 requests, and you're like, come on, man, I
Let's-
can't do that, So,
Let's keep something that's
Attainable.
attainable, yeah, absolutely.
How, you know, a cost estimate aside, how long of a process would the trail project be? Like, in terms of from kind of shovels in the ground to completion, like, it's not that much work.
No, that's much a lot of work, because there's property acquisition.
Okay, that's right.
There's dealing with, abandoned railroad spur, there's
Okay.
dealing with a bridge, 3 municipalities, a land trust, property owners that don't wanna, that wanna get rich quick.
Sure.
So
Okay.
it's,
That's it, okay, that,
but the plan, is something that we could definitely have done in a year.
okay,
The plan is something that we really need to iron out. Because there was a lot of, even when I sat down with the manager over there, and I was explaining, hey, the trail would come from Newberry over the old bridge through here. Where's that at? How's it line up? And he wasn't understanding it to the degree that,
We've already talked about it
Yeah.
many times and got a visual.
And
So
there's
you
some-
think off Route 50.
yeah, and there's some aspects of that plan that don't make sense, like it was go across the library bridge. It's like, what if the library bridge doesn't come into play? We can't put our eggs in that basket, you know what I mean? We need to have another, another plan here, So there's a lot to that needs worked out. Then we have the debacle of crossing into the park, and, so there's a lot to these. But it definitely warrants the next level to make a formal plan that we could, just like we did for the roundabout, like we're doing the north end, that we can have all the details, the minutia to be worked out, that we can advance this to construction. So if you had to say like a year, like to make this work, I would say if we dedicated funding, if it's something that the towns were just gonna pay general fund and not seek a grant for, we could potentially have that done, over the course in early part next year. And then start seeking grant funding, and that may take several years.
yeah.
Because we're dealing with 3 communities and all those parts. So I think it's attainable within 5 years.
Okay.
But what we need for next year would be a simple couple months to a 1-year thing, like 1 budget year. And the business director thing is a part-time position. It's just you need it to be successful. Like, why I'm hesitant to it. Like in a prior job, I had a part-time position that did that, and I didn't find it that successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, I don't know, the markets drive the thing, not the
Yeah.
government. And why Ambridge was successful is that one good business attracted another business. The borough wasn't out there bringing that brewery in. The positive work that the borough did attracted the brewery. It wasn't the borough attracting. The borough was just getting dirty laundry off the news and shining up Main Street and promoting that. And that goes far.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, I'm cautious, but we need to get the right person.
I would say, I feel like you would really need, especially as a part-time position, you would really need someone who was already bought in. And, you're already, that kind of limits your talent pool.
Yeah.
Because you want someone that lives here and has a seat in it.
And that's why Canonsburg is successful, was because of the lady who was, she called Miss Canonsburg.
She was a Scramuzzi with the builders.
Yeah, so we need to find out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm worried about the clock. I just think it's like, we need to figure out who that right person is to make it a meaningful thing. We don't want just, kid out of college sitting in the back room writing letters to keep in a toy store because we want a toy store. That ain't gonna work. But we would feel, we got a business director, but it isn't gonna do it. That's where we gotta be very methodical. But we need to be methodical in a new way, because we've had these business charrettes, business
Right.
and it's the same Joe, Pat, me,
Right,
you,
right,
and then the people only come once the thing's all ironed out, and then they come with their lawyer. It's like, why didn't you come from the start when we were sending you letters and we wanted you here? How do we do that? And that's where I think the, kind of like, not the chambers, managers talk, it's like, it's just a Bridgeville thing.
Yeah.
And just go into the minutia of that and how we address it. We need to hit on a couple simple things, because we do have a couple business people, but they don't want to be bothered.
Right.
And it's just,
But in the meantime, we can still make Bridgeville look more attractive, physically more attractive,
But we gotta do something on this business thing, because it's like, if you look at that we've touched on everything with
Right.
the business side. And it's like, we have touched on it, but it's like, we're just not hitting it right.
Yeah.
That's what we gotta figure out. And then like that railroad thing, I gotta get with Nick this week, we just finalized Bailey Avenue money. So
Yeah.
now, going on this council agenda is like, so much to get a library and so much to do something. So now we need to figure out what we can do, but we need to do it. I don't wanna just waste
Right,
$1,200 just having a band and we had a great time.
Right,
We
right.
need it so that the businesses are there and they buy in and
Right.
and it's, we've gotta pull this off in 2 months, the weather window. But it's doable.
Right.
But I don't wanna just waste $1,200 and have a good band on Railroad Street. That's not gonna do anything. We need it so that they're
Well-
there. Like, these are the awkward conversations we have to have.
let's talk, because realizing, yes, it does take time, any time to organize this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And let's get together and talk about Blake and see, and I can approach he or his wife
Yeah.
and try to organize something for down there that'll include Railroad Street. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's, at least it's a start.
This is kind of a council thing.
No, I mean,
No,
it's planning,
no.
it's anything. But like, this is really where we, where we need to take that. Because we can do it, like, we got the money now. It's just, I don't want to just throw a party. I want to do
Right.
it so that, like, you get people looking at what we need to look at. Like, is it looking at a vacant storefront? Is it like a pop-up that gets coordinated? Is it, you know, these are the things we need to work out.
Okay.
Can I suggest a third thing
Sure.
next year?
Yeah.
We had talked about every year including a Baldwin Street lot.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah. So when we did the garden last year, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be, it'll be 2 years.
Okay, do we have ideas for?
I love Justine's idea about putting bocce courts in owners of their own lots, and I don't think that would be. a
Especially, I think
buster.
CV even has their own bocce ball team, right?
Yeah.
You
So
know,
like if you're, like if Pittsburgh Pottery's having some outdoor event, we've got a garden,
right,
you have
right.
a bocce court,
Right.
like Baldwin Street starts to be like, hey, I'm gonna hang out over here for a while and
Yeah.
go buy pizza.
What was it, I put that was in there of that space specifically, because it is so wonderful, like, so kind of hidden, and, you know, it got me thinking about the awareness aspect of it. You know, even if it's bringing in, like, you know, a food truck and a coffee cart or something.
Right.
And you're doing that sort of thing where you're just getting eyes and visibility first, and you're growing that awareness, and then that becomes more regular, and maybe it's not, you know, the borough coordinating people that live there.
Right.
And kind of building that ownership, but yeah, like, I didn't know that history of that whole thing, so reading through it was really interesting, and I was like, that's such a great space, and there's so much opportunity, because there's parking, like, it has everything
Right,
we're looking
yeah.
for.
I
How
mean,
you
yeah, it's
drive
really
it.
a walkable area,
Yeah.
like half the town too.
Yeah,
Yeah. That watching thing could, like, we could even do that
More
in-house.
than half, I mean, maybe everybody
Make
else
sure
will
it's
still, but like.
Right, right. And then, you know, again, if we go to the Greater Pittsburgh Bocce Ball group, you know, and give them some idea that, hey, they can come down here and go to the Elks Club and have a beer.
Yeah. I mean, it might, yeah, it would probably give us an opportunity to get volunteers involved in something else, like
Right.
helping prep the space.
Mhm.
Maybe we could probably leverage, so I think it's a great idea,
Mhm.
like, I don't know
Yeah,
if everybody else is into the bocce thing, but.
No, again, I don't think, I think this one of those is probably not gonna be a whole lot of money.
No, and if it gets flooded, it's not
Something,
much.
something
Right,
that could be
yeah.
easily,
Yeah.
easily planned and stuff, I think that's.
And we won't be having bees next to the daycare, so.
Like, this is the things people are gonna hear, because like, we put that, someone's gonna be, yeah.
But like, if a daycare's gonna be closed in the evening, so if people are using it,
Yeah.
okay, or, not, you know, I mean, it's.
Yeah, but I think as long as we're focused on the community, not just one person's right.
And, you know,
Yeah.
the thing is that if we do that, then we have to try to figure out, is there the ability to teach how to play bocce? You know, so you line up additional things for like the first 12 months or the first 2 years, so that you can get a tournament, or you can get a league, or,
In 10 years, we could have an Olympic team.
there we go.
So, just because they come up a couple times about pottery, like, you know, I'm sure they could bring people and do a demonstration, or,
Right.
you know, that kind of thing. As much as you want people to come to businesses uptown and physically be uptown, from their perspective, I would think taking what you've got somewhere else and making that connection would be more beneficial almost, because for whatever reason, people are not willing to come into town. They might be more willing to go to a more calm, relaxed location, away from traffic.
Right.
And you're making one-on-one connection there, and really showcasing what it is that you have to offer. That's what was that's what was exciting with reading that, was just like, there's so much opportunity to do, you know, every month, a new business kind of doing their thing, and promoting themselves, which then helps us, and we're building a relationship.
Yeah. Well, I bring my crack together. I mean, we could have some like meditations at the garden, we could do yogas at the
Right.
gardens. Like there are a lot of opportunities to do stuff like that. And then we'd be, as more than we add the lot to the lots, now you've got like a whole, it's like a party. Like a relaxed party, not like a boisterous.
Okay.
Keep
Okay.
the neighbors
So,
party.
back to the park, streetscape.
Sure.
Like, if we went streetscape, like, are you looking short-term, long-term? Like, long-term, I feel like it's too, okay, this is just me, don't listen to my mom. So, north end, we know it needs done.
Right.
And it's just a matter of having the engineer put together an estimate, start seeing grant money for it. But it's gonna come time, there's like matching grants, we're gonna have to do something like this at the beginning. South side is essentially, it's like redeveloped the whole thing, that's really what it comes down to. Because we know the games that are being played with, the gaming monopoly here, you know, on this side. And then the traffic work that's being done, and the traffic work will result into us applying for, PennDOT funding to do the traffic work and the streetscape work. And then the flood work will allow that to all be redeveloped. So, other than some like temporary things on this side,
I feel like it's all has to be temporary
Yeah.
up north end. Temporary, but also cleaning.
yeah,
But I think, didn't we have a great conversation about street poles? For the south end?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, carrying those, extending those all the
Right.
way, all the way down.
Right.
I think, did I put that on there?
Is that something that should be worked on?
Yes, but I think as a group, I would love to see utilities put underground, but that's gonna escalate this budget really.
Right, right.
As long as we're realistic that, hey, we'll have a goal to get rid of them, but it's not gonna be all or nothing.
Even on
Because
the
this
south-
conversation, a couple months ago, went all or nothing here, and we're about to fight.
So the south end, the utilities are not underground, is that,
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, on both ends they're not.
okay?
So, in the middle they are, but on the ends they're not. And we're not gonna be able to just tell West Penn to get rid of them.
Right.
It's gonna be up to
Right.
us to pay for them. We could try to get cost and shoot for the moon, but if we don't land on the moon, be happy with.
So where is,
Orbiting the Earth.
Yeah, I
Where
think
do
that
they-
would make a huge impact. And those pools there isn't as much electric down there, like spaghetti clutter that you have.
The north end, yeah.
but wasn't there an issue with the placement of the poles? Because they're gonna have to go in some private property, like Sarastings?
No, I think we said that we could do this rather affordably
Okay,
because all the properties have lawns, so we could put the poles behind if, you know.
okay,
And stuff like
Alright.
that. So there could be unique ways to
yeah,
get it done.
yeah. I mean,
And that's where we're saying that the poles need to be in a different place because they get hit by trucks, you know,
Right,
once or twice a year,
right.
it's rather expensive.
So, we're looking at the south end as a potential for budget item, or?
Potentially, I think it's something where we could,
I'm trying to understand what the point.
I think it's gonna be, it's the south, then it would be, let's get an estimate of what it would be, and it's gonna be a grant project.
be me.
Yeah, 'cause that's gonna be a couple $1 million.
Everything's a couple $1 million.
It's what it is.
But in the
Some things are
meantime,
a couple $1 million.
in the
So I'm adding
meantime,
it to my lottery list. I mean,
the
Yeah.
red
I'm
bus,
at the point where I have to hit for like 400 million to cover all the Bridgeville projects.
But there's stuff we could do in there that isn't gonna be much money, like, we
Right.
have a shade tree commission,
right,
and they're go-getters, and they can go out and talk to those property owners and
Yeah.
say, hey, can we plant a tree in your front yard? And then that achieves the goal.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
We're there, so
Right.
that's like,
that's one part.
and that's a conversation they're having, we have it on their agenda, so that's something for next year.
With that underground utility, would that be something that future development there could be compelled to include?
Yes, but there's gonna be, on that side, there probably won't be any.
Okay.
That side, yes.
North end.
I got you, okay.
So everything, we call the north end, Iron Hill Road to Collier.
Okay.
And then just to give you context, everything except maybe 2 buildings from here to the railroad trestle is owned by one of us.
Okay.
And he's been like, he just bought the biggest part of it, so like, and we've had him as part of the discussion, so there's a vision, you see in the comp plan. And we did the zoning to match with the flood project that got delayed because whatever. And we were doing the traffic, so there's all the parts are in play now for the north end. It's just now, we gotta do the flood thing, because then this isn't working.
Yeah.
And then the traffic, that's gonna take a couple of years. It's like, we'll potentially have a meeting here by the end of the year with those engineers to come present the plan, because he's gonna be wrapping up soon, that we can work out the details, that we can start seeking PennDOT funding to do that. And then with that all being done, then we bring that property owner in and helping him see what he needs to make that work. And then that electric can all be done through there. Heavens, yes.
Okay.
But for the south side, maybe what I'll do is like I can send like an email out to say, hey, noting that downtown Bridgeville includes, the street lights, landscape beds, the active transportation plan had that median strip in the middle. We're gonna form this all into one plan. What else do you wanna see added to this so that he can put a concept plan together to give me an estimate? And then we can put that
Yeah.
to council for budget,
Okay.
because that's gonna have to be a priority. And that would work out well,
Yeah.
I could do that within the next 2 weeks, you guys.
Okay.
Alright. So we'll work out like a project scope.
Okay.
And that would be a nice one where, what can we do if we got all of it? And then if we can't get grant funding, then how can we phase that? Like, can we, just do light poles, we'll do
Right.
that 1 year, and then next year work with shade tree, I feel like.
You can phase the trail too.
Yes, it's all gonna have to be, and I think it's definitely attainable, and that would make a huge impact. And here it's just stinks, it's like, I don't know, I said a bunch of times, like, you can't start here until the flooding's fixed, because no one's gonna give you a loan,
That's why I was really thinking mostly like some cement planters, and something to just do a tiny bit of color or something pretty. I don't care what color.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
Pit engineers. Pit engineer McLaughlin Run Acid Mine Drainage Project. Joe put a memo in the packet.
But I'm sorry, but I don't wanna keep coming, I just wanna make sure I'm clear, so, I know what I'm doing for the south end, I feel like we all understand, north end, so here, and I don't wanna leave Melissa hanging, are we making a recommendation on stuff to do this year, next year? What's our thoughts with this?
Look at you.
Well, this is my, oh, you mean because I didn't put timing in here?
No, it's about
Okay.
timing, it's
No,
like,
it's-
what are we doing?
I mean, I would propose that we start doing something, because, I don't know, Earth Day cleanup was a big wake up for me.
Okay.
Sharon and I worked that side of town, and I mean, it's gross.
Yeah,
Like, it's
It's-
dirty,
it's
it's
dirty because
gross.
of the traffic.
Yeah.
you know.
And I feel like if we, I don't know, I just thought, like I was downtown
paving and
Mhm.
everything turned out paved.
Is there a
And
way
that's
to,
like, Shaw's already has that planter out front, so like we could ask them, like,
Sure.
I mean, you know, we have a group of people who are willing to tear that grass out and plant flowers in there.
Yeah.
The is there still a dentist or mortgage loan, whatever that building is down by Presley.
There's dents
They,
in there.
okay, they have some space that
Yeah.
looks like it could use a little help.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, did you talk to like the Shade Tree folks or like?
yeah, Jen and I kind of talked through this whole thing. I mean, I think we can partner probably on they're not, as individuals, they will help with any of this stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's not gonna have to be a treat. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
But
that's
like-
a plant tree, planter.
yeah, but like, Jen and I mean, we focus more on the south end because there's a lot of opportunity for trees in there.
There is.
Yeah, but like, in terms of north end, she and I weren't really talking about a space to find for trees there. Cause I think we wanna, like, do impermanent things that can be,
Mhm.
oh no, we did talk about it. Because we were like, how terrible was it during the draft that they cut all those trees down at the stadium? We do not wanna plant anything that we're gonna have to like murder in a year and a
Locust
half.
trees, take that down.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. So it was like, we did talk about consciously doing anything that was gonna be movable,
So is
like,
this,
after, for the development.
so is this something we wanna do for next year? Or 2 years, or wait till?
I don't know. It's all looking to you.
If you're
That's
gonna do
why
it,
I-
if you're gonna do it,
Okay,
do it
it's
sooner than
me,
later.
I wanna do it next year.
Yeah,
but-
do it sooner than later.
I would say, think about, number one, is there any way we can get a rendition of your idea?
Yeah, I'll find more pictures.
All right?
Yeah.
And, because I was looking, they're 36 long by 12 wide. So 12 wide is not bad for that sidewalk
Right.
down there.
Yeah,
all
that's
right?
narrow.
So, in other words, are you looking at putting them closer to the curb so that it's more visible? How many of them will we need, and what would the appearance be, right?
well, so
And sorry, Jay, I mean, yeah, you're coming in on this new, so like.
yeah, well, I was just thinking like, is it something where you could get, I'm thinking scouting organizations or, the high school kids as a sort of community service type project? I don't know how involved that is. But even, pitching, hey, you can design or getting an arts and culture group to each one gets a kind of sponsored thing that they're able to kind of do whatever with in terms of appearance, within reason, and
Yeah.
it's, approved and that kind of thing. But is there a possibility to defray some of the cost by sort of finding community partners to take on building some of those, or,
I think potentially, I didn't go down that path of research, but it
So
seems
you think
possible.
I'm doing concrete planters?
Yeah, because you don't want people stealing
Right.
or
So you could,
crashing, breaking
I
stuff
mean,
and
there's
crashing.
there's
into it.
companies out there that do ornamental, I mean, you could probably pour them, maybe like Carol.
You call Tom McDermott and say, Tom.
I would say you're a comic firm, or you do have a concrete company in town.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest maybe.
And then to your point, like you decorate, like you go up into towns like Punxsutawney, they have, everybody gets a groundhog and you decorate it however you want. You say, Shoes, this is yours, you decorate it however you want. And then, you go to Thomas Dance Studio, decorate it how you want.
So, living the experience of the planters on Main Street
Mhm.
was a very good learning experience. Because number one, you have to figure out who's gonna plant them. Number two, those things will need watered, depending upon the weather, almost every day.
I heard a rumor about a water buffalo.
They want to buy one, but like.
Okay.
Oh, I know, somebody's
I
driving
need-
around, I
there's a
understand,
lot
yeah.
through there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I get
Anyway,
it, yeah.
so, yes, I mean, fortunately for the planters, typically there's 2 or 3 people that water in 90-degree weather every day.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if
It
we
looked
have
really
these,
good this year.
Okay,
yeah,
I think this would be a good discussion to continue next time, because we're running a little late.
Come on, they don't want to stay here till 10 o'clock talking about planners.
Okay, let's get it till 10 o'clock. I know that Joe's got
I'm
family
good.
issues and,
The planner thing though is like, if you had to focus on learning experience, the sculpture, like we had sculptures in North End, we need to, if you're gonna do anything in North End, they've gotta be big, cause like
Right.
1 or 2 is not even gonna make a difference.
Right.
Yeah,
Cause like the sculptures when we had in North End,
that heavy metal one, that was.
Yeah, it
was
was-
like.
it was,
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so fabricating them ourselves would be the most cost-effective way
But
to do
again,
it. But-
how,
Or like with community partners.
when you do cement like that, what's the curing rate before you plant something in them?
oh, I would assume it's all done when they get stationed here.
Yeah.
I mean, do
It'll
they
be
have
kinda
to,
late.
because aren't they leaching lime?
Well, we're not
I don't think anyone thinks.
We'll figure it, we're not, that's. we'll
Okay,
figure
excuse me,
it out.
sorry.
We're going into the weeds. Speaking of weeds.
speaking of weeds,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
so you'll put some additional ideas together,
Okay,
and we'll visit this next meeting.
okay.
That work?
Yeah.
Okay. Pit engineers, McLaughlin Run, acid mine drainage project.
Dr. Euler expressed interest, us doing another pit engineer project and made a recommendation that he could help us, with pit engineers to find a remedy to the AMD that leaches in the 1200 block of McLaughlin Run. So we put a proposal together and submitted it last week, Justine and I.
Okay,
To see if it's selected or not.
okay.
I think most of you guys know, like, the Crick comes to launch back.
When will they let us know?
I think rather soon.
Yeah, because they started in mid-September, I think. It's this fall's project. We need this fall's project.
Okay.
He was very interested in, like, working here, so it seemed like it was.
I mean, I think it's a good scope. I realized that they did the roundabout, the group did the roundabout, and they, with the traffic study on.
He came up with an idea for the library bridge, remember this stuff?
Right, right. Okay, all right.
Okay. Environmental Advisory Committee, live well, live well, thank you. Live well, Allegheny, skip me, past my bedtime. And included in our packet was, a resolution.
Yes, so you guys made a request to council to join the Live Well Allegheny program. Council supported that, passed the necessary resolution. That was adopted, sent to the county health department, and the county health department since the last meeting said we're in. They're in the process of updating their website. Once their website's updated, we'll be on it, and then we'll be included in the correspondence.
Okay, anything else? We don't have any public comment?
I think.
Have you used the message?
I have one comment. You talked about the businesses, and I go see Dr. Greer on a monthly basis to get twisted into a pretzel. And he always
You're
talks
supposed to
about,
straighten you out, Joe.
he always talks about how he talks to the other businesses. I think there's a group of them that already meet or already talk. So my suggestion would be to try to get in front of that group, that specific group, because Adam is a big talker, but he doesn't step forward in doing things as much as I think brand new, not a brand new business, but a newer business, young family, so it might be difficult, but that's just my one suggestion is it sounds like there's a group of people that are already talking as a group, but maybe not a formal group. Try to get in front of that group.
With these people?
You what?
Does he go to meetings with these people?
Well, it sounds like they get together at
Have coffee.
Not like on a Thursday
No.
at 12.
No,
Okay.
not a Rotary group.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything? John, Ken, any words of wisdom? Okay.
If we're doing that marketing, like, is is that an agenda item? I feel like that could be a night in itself, is like that marketing discussion. Like, I don't want that to just be like, we talked about it, move on. Like,
Meaning when we talk about today,
yeah, like, we can really
I
go
think-
over on that.
I think I think the marketing, business development, I think that's kind of tied into one.
Well,
You know,
I
I
was
don't
at,
think it's, I think if you get the right person to do this, they are gonna do the marketing. I mean,
So, just because it's the way my brain works, I was jotting down just ideas as I was going through things like, oh, here's how you just, and again, not that it would be helpful or would be, probably, who knows? But there's a lot of potential, and like, as you were kind of talking through things, I was thinking, you know, even if you were to compile, you probably have it. Here are the grants that you've been awarded over, say, a 5-year span. Here's how we've leveraged that. I think the average resident probably doesn't realize that. That in and of itself is an impressive thing, not only for residents, but for potential business, that we are active. You have what I think is a pretty good success rate on those sorts of things. So I think there's a lot of little things like that where it's just a matter of putting it out there.
you do a really good newsletter, and you
Yes.
will put
Right.
stuff like that in there, but almost like, hey, let's focus on the wins. We're not talking about, oh, we did this, or this is this group, this is this group. It's just about, hey, this is about Bridgeville and what's the positive
But, you
things
know,
that happen around
Yeah.
here.
Joe has really done an excellent job of announcing what grants and how much, I mean, I don't know what more we could do.
It's different though now because like the newspapers aren't around like.
Right,
the
Yeah.
news.
right.
It isn't like everyone gets the PG West like we
Yeah.
used to.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So it's different.
But still, I mean, every
All you
month,
got is Facebook,
You also-
you know what I mean? It's just.
Right.
It's almost like a brochure, like a brochure. It's something you have, like a piece of paper, and you can, like if you go visit a brewery, or you go visit a coffee shop, or, you're done, you go to another part of town, and there's a company that, like you talk about, like Grandpa Joe's is in Cansburg, oh, they have a Cansburg, well, Grandpa Joe's it's not one store, there's a
Right.
bunch of them. And you have something like, hey, we're from Bridgeville, this is what we've done over the last few years, like a brochure.
Like a
Maybe what-
specialized newsletter.
maybe
Not,
what we,
not for the people in Bridgeville.
Right, but, well, I mean, it can be
Yeah.
circulated,
Also,
but also,
they might know somebody who owns a business.
and, with,
special edition.
maybe we should do more for, shop local, for the, what do they do over Thanksgiving?
Black Friday or whatever.
Small business
Small
Saturday.
Business Saturday. We do a campaign for shop local, and we identified, you can get those little stickies put up, or made, and you stick them on every business that's willing to open up their doors for shopping local. And just market things like that. I mean, you get free parking, there's a variety of things that you can do for shop local.
Yeah, and like, I definitely don't want to, I obviously, I think I'm biased toward that slant on things, just because that's my background. So I don't wanna just say like, oh, well, it's marketing. But I do think there are some bigger things in here where there are a lot of attractive things that, not only for residents, but for potential business. And I think there's a lot of really great stuff to put out there to a wider regional reach.
Yeah, I'm like, this is where I'm confused. So like, we had we had a Markstown.
Right.
It's like, it's like, why do we need to be, it's like, to me, it's like Bridgeville's Bridgeville. I don't know if I'm doing career suicide right now, but like, why do we need to like, Bridgeville's Bridgeville? Like, you read that vision statement, like, I don't need to turn myself into an arts town. I'm here.
I would say I wrote that down of, if that's a direction that, kind of everyone has decided to go, that's fine. But who's making the decisions on that trial and error?
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, but
And
the
that's
thing
where
of it
we're all at,
is
right
that
now, is-
we when we did the co-plan, it was that with, one of the purposes was to make Bridgeville a destination, right? And, you know, we were just in the public art Bridgeville phase, and it happened to be that, you know, people
Yeah.
were attracted. People actually said, hey, I enjoy going through Bridgeville because you have all this artwork. So I'm not, I mean,
I think you just said exactly it. So like, here's my thing, it's like, going through Bridgeville, you said the magic word.
Right.
It's like, you need to stop at Bridgeville.
Right,
Like,
right.
Bridgeville has this, but we need a reason to stop, not just keep going
Right,
through. Because we have the people coming, it's just.
but I mean, at least people, here's the thing, at least when I talk to people outside of Bridgeville, I'm waiting for a doctor or something or something like that, I always bring up something about Bridgeville. And I go, oh yeah, that's great, you have those great flowers on Main Street, you know, you have the artwork and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, at least people are recognizing that there are those things that are making Bridgeville more attractive. Now, whether or not that brings in other businesses, probably not, but at least at the same
So
time.
they're making a positive comment about
But
it.
why is Bob Donato looking at
Or
doing?
distiller, or
I mean,
speakeasy.
Right, right, I mean, that's one business, I
That'd be
mean,
nice, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
so,
think
you
that's
know,
neat.
public, I mean,
Yeah. Speakeasy.
fortunately for us, Pittsburgh Pottery had found the right building, you know, that we could play off of that, but anyway. So,
Okay, I got one thing, not related to planning. Bridgeville, Greater Area Lions Pasta Dinner is October 7th, 4 to 4:30 to 7 p.m. at the Fire Hall. Tickets are $20. If anybody's interested, let me know. Okay, take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Melissa's comments. Okay, got a motion to adjourn. Second?
I'll second.
Second? Questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.